Hi guys, and welcome to another edition of Darkwood Bushcraft. Today on Darkwood Bushcraft we're going to be talking about my survival knife loadout. This is the ESEE 5 and one of the things that you can get for both the ESEE 5 and the ESEE 6 and the Hungless is a ESEE pouch that you can actually attach to the sheath. So I'm going to go through the bits and pieces that I carry in the pouch on my ESEE 5 in a survival situation. Now, the thinking behind this is essentially kit that I can use that is going to be useful to me if I lose my pack or I'm somewhere where I haven't got access to my main equipment. So what I'm looking at potentially here is stuff for potentially rescue, for shelter building and for fire lighting. So we'll go in a bit closer and we'll start to have a look at all the individual pieces that we have in the front of the knife. Okay, let's start with the knife itself. This is the ESEE 5. This is one of the bigger ESEE knives. This is probably my favourite when it comes to the bigger knives. It's really thick bar stock, it's a heavy duty piece of kit, but we won't talk about that today, but that obviously is my primary piece when it comes to this. The rest of it is obviously secondary and a backup to the knife itself. So let's have a look and see what we've got in the front here. Now, attached to the outside, and all of this is attached via carabiners, etc., so that it can't actually get lost. We have, first of all, a small silver compass. These are much better than your standard button compasses. They're much more accurate and they're actually fairly functional as compasses go. We have got a top survival whistle, mainly chosen because it's loud, but also because it's very, very flat, so it's convenient for the sheath. And a torch. Now, this torch, if I can get it out, there we go, has a lantern facility, it has a strobe facility, and it has a full beam. It's about 200 lumen, so it's not amazingly bright, but it's good enough for what I need just as a light source in an emergency. It's also wrapped with Gorilla Tape, so we've got there a readily available source of fire. So if I pull this now, we get my secondary backup blade and my dog's tail. Oi, you two, go and play. Swiss Army knife. This one I believe is the hiker. It has most of the functions that I need. It's got screwdrivers, so it's got rudimentary tools. It has a small saw on there, and anyone who knows the Swiss Army knife saws know that they're very, very good saws. It's of course got a couple of blades, so I've got backup blades and I've got blades that I can do smaller work with. Also stainless steel, so it doesn't need an awful lot of maintenance. I have a sharpening stone. That's really for just maintaining the edge. It's a very, very smooth grit stone, so it's not going to do any major sharpening, but it's a good way to keep my edge touched up. I have a piece of fat wood, always good as a fire source, and then I have my ESEE survival tin. Now these generally come with an ESEE survival tin, so if you buy the ESEE pouch for the knife, you will get one of these tins with it. What I've done with mine is I have a little tab here which is just doubled over Gorilla Tape, and that is just a piece of Gorilla Tape wrapped around the outside of the tin just to waterproof everything, and also it's another source of tinder. So if we open this up, I'll show you what I've got inside it. So inside here I have a Bic lighter, again, yet more Gorilla Tape. I have a small fire steel. I believe this one was a Schrade one. It was out one of the Schrade knives. It's actually quite a good steel. It throws a really good spark and it's ever so tiny, so it fits really nicely into the tin. I have cordage. That's a 300-pound breaking strain braided fishing line. It's a really handy, strong cordage, and it's surprisingly good at a lot of things. It's a little bit fiddly to knot because it is quite fine, but at a pinch it's really good. We've got super glue. That's great for those small little cuts and wounds and things. You just need to glue them shut. It's ideal. Some iodine swabs, and then some first aid stuff. We've got anti-inflammatories, we've got painkillers, we've got some sterile wipes, and we have an assortment of plasters. So that is the grand total of my kit. All that then sits on my knife, which then sits on my dangler, which I will show you next. Right, so I'm going to talk about how I carry this now. Now, this is a big old knife. It's a heavy piece of kit, and with the addition of the pouch at the front, obviously that adds to the weight. It probably weighs in total about ½ kilo. So the problem I've had with the ESEE sheaths in the past, and this one in particular, is this metal clip on the back. Now it's designed obviously to clip straight to your belt. The only issue is if with a big knife you catch it, and it's fairly easy to do because I've done it several times with this knife, you can literally rip it off the sheath, off the clip. You bend the clip right the way back, and it's very, very difficult to get it back into position again. And you've always then got a weak spot there. So I always carry my bigger ESEEs on a dangler. Now the one I have here, I'll show you a close-up of, but it essentially has a flat D-ring at the bottom, so it's very easy for me to just slot that pocket clip over the top of there and carry the knife this way. First of all, I like it because it's lower, so it makes it very easy for me to get a big knife in and out of my sheath. It also means that if I'm wearing a jacket, I haven't got to wear my knife on the outside. I can still wear my knife on my trouser belt. It sits below the jacket and doesn't interfere. I can still get it in and out. That's a huge advantage if you're in a position where it's maybe spring or autumn and you're constantly changing layers and getting jackets on and off to maintain your temperature. It's just one less thing to worry about. The other thing, of course, and probably the most important reason why I carry it on a dangler, is if it catches on anything, we've created a hinge. So rather than it ripping it off the sheath and off the belt hook, it just flexes. It makes it much better from the point of view of not ragging my knife off my belt. That's the main reason. So what I've done with this dangler as well is it has a loop built into it so that I can actually attach another sheath to the dangler itself. With this, at the moment, currently I'm carrying my multi-tool on it. So in addition to my knife, I've also got my Leatherman. This is the UK legal version of the Leatherman Rebar, sorry, my mistake, it's the Rebar. That's the bladeless version. So again, if I go to the supermarket on the way home, I just quickly whip my knife off my dangler, put it in the car, lock it away, and I'm completely legal. You also notice there is a fire steel on the back as well. That's just a TBS one in addition to the one that I've got actually in the knife kit. Finally, the other thing that's convenient about having it on a dangler is when you're in and about camp, it's very easy just to take your knife off. If you're sitting down, standing up, a big knife can get in the way. So it's very easy just to take it off, put it to one side, in your pack, no bother whatsoever, and you can sit around the campfire and enjoy your beer without having to worry about having a knife sticking in your leg or up your side. Happy trails.